I heard the news the same way everybody else did. And my show, I think, was February 1st or February 2nd in Beirut. I was playing Mozart Clarinet Concerto, but also playing a suite for improvising orchestra that I've composed. And that was in a time where I don't know, after the end of the concert, if I'll be able to fly back a few hours later, back to New York. I don't think I've ever played as free as that night. I felt incredibly powerful. I'm playing now and nobody can stop me from playing, and this sound will travel somewhere. So I was in, like an unknown situation for a few days. When I attempted to fly back, that was a day after the judge in Seattle, I think, blocked the executive order, so I was able to fly back. I mean, for me, it still continues to be incredible that one signature can change the lives of so many people. I managed to overcome that. But now I know that there are lots of people, there are lots of lives that have been shattered by this. This has been happening in my head for the last 6 years since the Syrian uprising began. I mean, you have a bigger perspective about what does it mean to be in a bad situation, I mean, and that was not a bad situation. I was already in a hotel room in Beirut. I had a roof over my head. I had food and I had money to buy food, all of this. And it cannot become the biggest thing in the world. It's not. Life is much larger than what you are. In a situation like this is when I realize how lucky I am to be a musician, actually, to have a channel through which I can express not only my anger, my frustration, but also my hopes, and to express yourself. It's quite a luxury to have. I'm a graduate of CUNY, did my doctorate of musical arts. I have a degree I got my master's and graduate diploma from Juilliard. And I did my bachelor also in music at the Higher Institute of Music in Damascus. My band is a New York-based group. It's called the Kinan Azmeh City Band. I started the band in 2006. And it took me a while to start my own band here, because I had my own band back in Damascus. It has to do, I think, something with me feeling at home in New York. Having a band in the city, for me, meant mentally that this is equally home. I split time between composing and playing. So it's not that I'm on tour the whole time. I'm on tour maybe 9 months a year or 8 months a year. The rest, I'm actually, I get commissions to write music for people. I was named a composer in residence with Classical Movements, which is an organization based in Washington, D.C. I'm writing a piece for the Seattle Symphony. I'm writing a piece for a couple festivals in Europe. Anywhere I am, where my clarinet is, where my computer is, and where I am is where my job. Many years back, my dad heard about the Silk Road on BBC. And he told me, Kinan, there's a great ensemble that was founded by Yo-Yo Ma. You might want to keep an eye on it. In my work, I never think there are borders between cultures and everything. And I do that in the music I make. And I met lots of Silk Road members throughout the years from my life in New York, but also from international tours. So when I got the email, like, would you like to join the ensemble? Would you like to play a couple pieces with us? I was like, yeah, sure. Of course, I was thrilled and honored and everything, but it felt natural as well. I'm a clarinetist of the ensemble, but also I compose for the ensemble. When we workshop a piece, for example, all of us have an equal say in what's going on. I compose few pieces for the ensemble, but I also I play and I improvise. The most exciting part is when you bring the piece to the ensemble, and that's when you get a test drive of the piece, really. What works, what doesn't, and you listen to your colleagues, because they have their own expertise about things. The way I look at music before 2011, before the Syrian revolution, and after, music was maybe one of my main things. Yes, I like music and I like to play and everything, but now it's urgent. There's the urgency of you wanting to express something that is much larger than who you are. Because we don't have the words to express it, we listen to music. If I'm able to express in words what music does, then there will be no need for the music itself. And when I compose, when I play, I feel that complex of emotions going on. but I think it's all about the individual. Not only the music maker, but also the music receiver too. So it's an act of freedom by default, enjoying art and making art. So when I write music now, I practice this act of freedom. And for me, it's quite important to do that. Especially when you remember that all what happened in Syria in the last 6 years, at least the beginning of it, was people wanting to practice that act of freedom and free expression. So for me now, when I do that, I see myself part of this bigger collective.